Hello again, my name's John. I'm a retired cook from the northeast of England in the UK, and welcome to my latest video recipe. And in this one I'll be making this wonderful salmon en croute, or to give it its English title, salmon in crust or pastry. It's surprisingly easy to make and absolutely delicious. You can view the ingredients list and full written method for this recipe on the recipe page on the channel's website. I'll leave a link in the description under the video, or you can click on the eye icon top right of the screen to take you directly to the recipe page. And I'd like to thank the Patreon and PayPal supporters for their very kind help. I'll be doing the shout out and name splash a little later in the video. Okay, let's get on with today's recipe. I'll start the recipe by cutting the chives. You can use other herbs if you wish. Even spring onions chopped very finely will be okay in this recipe, but I like the mild onion flavour of chives. For the cream cheese, I find mascarpone the creamiest to use, but once again there are plenty of other cream cheeses you can use out there. Whichever you choose, you'll need 40 grams or 1.5 ounces of it. Next to go in is the salt and pepper seasoning. And the beauty about this kind of filling is you can give it a taste to see if the seasoning's right for you. A little touch of garlic powder is also very good at this point, but don't overdo it. You don't want the flavours too strong in this recipe. And these great little spatulas are on sale in the website shop. Great little tool to have in your kitchen if you want one. Right, I'll give that a good mix and set it aside for now. Time to whisk up your egg and milk for the egg wash. I like to add a couple of teaspoons of milk to the egg, and this makes the egg wash nice and runny and easy to apply. If you're using store-bought puff pastry, and I'll mention an alternative in a moment, you'll need to line your baking tray with parchment paper. Right, onto the pastry. Now I'm using store-bought puff pastry as I find it much better than homemade, but there's nothing stopping you using your own homemade short crust pastry for this recipe. If you want to make your own short crust pastry for this dish, you can get the recipe from any of my pie videos. I'll leave a link in the description, or click the eye icon top right of your screen. For this recipe you'll need 31 centimetres, that's 12 inches for the main part. That should leave you a couple of inches extra, and you can cut those into 4 or 5 thin strips for the lattice work. Right, I'll put those in the fridge until needed. Now you need to cut the pastry into 2 pieces. 16 centimetres, that's 6.5 inches for the top pastry, and 14 centimetres, that's 5.5 inches for the bottom pastry. The top one has to be a little larger than the bottom one because it has to cover the filling. The same applies if you're making your own short crust pastry. Right, that's done. Now I'll separate the two. Right, that's everything prepared for the recipe. Now before you go any further, preheat your oven to 170 Celsius, that's 340 Fahrenheit, or gas mark 3. Okay, get your prepared baking tray. To help the paper stay flat, just add a few dabs of butter here and there. Now place the smaller pastry in the middle of the tray. Add a little of the cream cheese filling in the middle as shown. Now place your salmon fillet on the filling. I'm using 2 small fillets. These are much better if they're frozen. The reason is that it doesn't overcook in the oven, as it takes 50 minutes to bake these. Also, the cold keeps the cheese filling stiff and easier to apply. Now cover the rest of the fish with the filling as shown. Next, brush the egg wash all around the edge of the bottom pastry and go right up to the filling with it. Okay, time to carefully place the larger pastry on top and gently press it down and move it into place. Make sure you get as much air out as possible. Take your time, this pastry is very forgiving. And another advantage of the salmon being frozen is it prevents your pastry from going too soft, therefore easier to work with. Right, nothing too difficult so far. Now get a fork, dip it in the egg wash and press the edges together as shown. And this also makes a pretty pattern round the edge when baked. And once that's done, give the whole thing a good coat of the egg wash. Now you can stop there if you wish, but I like to do a little lattice work with the strips of pastry that I cut earlier. There's nothing too fancy about it, but it does give the pastry a good look once it's baked. Now give the whole thing another good coat of the egg wash. Time to get it into the preheated oven. And set your timer for 50 minutes. And at this point, I hope you don't mind if I give my 2 recipe books a bit of a plug. The books have lots of our favourite easy to follow recipes from our work kitchens in them. Both books are available in the website shop along with lots of other equipment I use in the videos. And by popular demand, the skeleton style oven gloves are now available too. Just click on the eye icon top right of your screen and that'll take you directly to the website shop. So, if you're looking for some great Christmas presents, get your order in as soon as you can. Right, time's up and it's looking wonderful and smells even better. We traditionally have one of these for lunch with a nice salad on Boxing Day, nice and light after the heavy going on Christmas Day. It was also one of the favourites in our commercial kitchens. Right, I'll slide the whole thing off and onto a wire rack and let it settle for 5 minutes. Five minutes are up, so I'll carefully slide it over onto the cutting board and let you see the inside. These really are very easy to make and it doesn't take a lot of time either, especially if you use a store-bought roll of puff pastry. Including the baking time, this only took me 1 hour and 5 minutes. And doesn't that look wonderful and appetising? The pastry is very light and the salmon looks perfectly cooked. Okay, can't wait any longer to give this beauty a try. I'll just try a bit from here. It's still quite hot, but you can serve these cold as well. And oh my, that is amazing and absolutely delicious. And I hope you give this one a try over the holidays. And I'm sure you'll give this one a big thumbs up too. And as promised at the beginning, here is the latest list of my Patreon and PayPal supporters. And they are Fred Watson, Andrew Boswell, Frank Herman, Greg Lawson, Kevin, Jordan Calque and Justin. Thanks very much guys, I really do appreciate all that you do in supporting the channel. Well, thank you again for watching. Please like, share, comment and subscribe by hitting the circle above. If you do subscribe, activate the bell icon next to the subscribe button on my channel page. And by doing that, you'll be automatically notified every time I upload a new video. And in the meantime, here's a few of my other videos and playlists that you may want to watch. So until the next time, be safe in your kitchen and bye for now.